Hello. Railway. The beginning. The very beginning as we know it today. The very first commercial line was opened at midday on the 27th September 1825. On Tuesday, England, close to Newcastle, on the map of England, would be here. Between Darlington mining and Stockton Riverport, there was open 40 kilometers long railway line, the very first in the world. Behind this commercial success was a brilliant local engineer called George Stephenson, who convinced the local authorities and nobles that steam locomotive could pull loads up to 50 times heavier than horses and could travel faster, further and cheaper. At that time, the horses carried up to 4 tons only. There were two profound pillars of this commercial success. The first one is a steam engine. The second one, the hardened road. And also there was a third one, the timing. Okay, so let's focus for the first. Let's start and focus now on the last one, the timing. You have to remember that 18th century, the beginning of 19th century, you have to remember it was the revolution time, industrial revolution time, when hunger for huge demand for coal, transportation was desperate. Fixed and locally installed steam engines were powered by coal, and engines were more and more popular and used in metallurgy, mining, pumping, textile industry. Coal as a fuel used to be transported from mining areas to industrialized areas by means of horse-drawn vehicles. That was very low efficient, time-consuming, and slow. First pillar, steam engine. At that time, 1825, steam engine was already known for 70 years. It was quite well known and but still heavy, complicated, unreliable, and from time to time explosives. George Stephenson managed to make it the engine simpler, lighter, easy to operate, and he had an excellent idea to make it self-propelled and movable on the tracks. Since 1814, George Stephenson was closer and closer to the final shape of his locomotive. Almost perfect final stage evolved and was almost ready to use in 1825, precisely when the perfect occasion arose for public presentation. Second pillar, the hardened road. At that time, the horse-drawn vehicles was the only means of transport by road. And since ages, it was well known that the more hardened the wheel, and the more hardened the road, then the heavier load can be easy. So the early attempts to improve the efficiency, to improve a bit more efficiency of the horse-drawn vehicles, was focused on the metal plates on the wheels and metal plates on the level of ground. But nothing came out of it. Metal plates were very easy dirty and frequently broken. So there was a second approach to improve such a procedure. The second approach focused on the metal plates, but within the corridor, few centimeters within the ground. But again, nothing. And then, because the corridors were frequently jammed with dirt, but most of all, the operational moving was very close to zero. The third approach to improve horse-drawn transport was focused on constructing totally separate road with iron tracks slightly over the ground. And that was it. From now on, the only one thing to do was to add steam engine to the trucks. Or, say more precisely, to put the engine on the trucks and make it roll. So, at noon, 27 September 1825, there was the occasion on which a steam locomotive named Locomotion was used to haul passengers and coal floor on a public railway. The local ceremonial opening gathered 40,000 people, spectators. The locomotive operator was obviously Mr. George Stephenson himself, and the train, may we say so, the train, was preceded by a man on horseback due to safety procedures. The very first train carried one passenger wagon and 33 wagons full of coal and flavor. And flour. And on the top those wagons were brave individuals who sat on coal and floor just to experience, close as possible, such a novelty as a steam engine. The total load was 100 tons. The journey was success. Reached safely Stockton, 40 kilometers away, the average speed 24 kilometers per hour. And that is how the new era arrived at the scene, at the pace of 24 kilometers per hour, which was year by year from now on faster, safer. That day was born completely new industry, rolling stock. Still, to improve was the engine itself, the wheels, and the trucks. Nevertheless, it has already been almost perfect and proved total advantage over horse transport, luckily for horses. In 1830, line Liverpool-Manchester was opened. 1838, Lancashire-Cheshire was opened. 1839, new line Dresden-Leipzig, 90 kilometers long, has been opened. And in 1875, 50 years after the very first commercial run, in Europe we had 40,000 locomotives, 90,000 passenger wagons, 1 million commercial wagons, and the railway tracks in Europe totaled up to 158,000 kilometers. For a few decades, England provided raw model of locomotives and trucks, as no other country had such experience nor abilities to produce locomotives nor trucks. The size of the trucks was 1,435 millimeters, the size between the trucks. The heritage we have today, after the early stage of railway industry, is the exactly truck size. Namely, today the worldwide most common truck size is called Stephensonian, or simply normal. Which is 1,435 millimeters, which is the size of a horse-drawn English carrier. And every wider truck is named wider, and every narrowed truck is named narrow. Thank you very much.